I can't believe it's 15 years since we met.
I know.
In our little tiny office that crammed 3 of us in. And yeah, we served you lunch, which were blue sandwiches. And you still went ahead and joined Banana Moon.
Despite you trying to poison me.
Yeah. It was... it just shocks me 15 years have gone by, and it makes you feel very old for one.
It does make me feel very old as well, yeah.
But it's an absolute amazing achievement that we're overwhelmed with, that that you're still with us. I don't mean that as alive.
That's Mike's joke.
But no, it's we've come a long way from that little office to having that nursery to where we are now, and including yourself too, from not having one nursery but 3. And yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, long journey. I do feel quite old, but it's also, it has flown by.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Scares me that another 15 years I'll be very, very old. Moving on with you being with us for 15 years, we're going to be celebrating our 15 years of franchising, which is a huge achievement for us. And we want to know better to do it with yourself. So, so to celebrate our 15 years of franchising, we're sharing 15 brand promises that have shaped our journey. We're starting with 15 years of growing together as a franchise. So what does that phrase mean to you?
I think when I first read it, I just felt like it sort of embodied the longest relationship I've ever had and likely ever to have, and tripping off into the sunset, to be honest. But no, it was more than that. We have grown together. We've done the rough and the smooth, the highs and the lows. We've really gone through all sorts of changes and a whole evolution towards where we are now. And I think we're just arriving at what can continue as a mutually respectful relationship. And that's what 15 years of growing together does, doesn't it? You get to know each other, what's and all. And I talk that in business sense. And to just have that mutually respectful relationship where I know what I can give or what I can take, and equally the franchise has the same relationship with me, that they can come to they would approach me for certain things, but possibly not for others. It's how a relationship works. So yeah, it's mind-blowing, really.
So obviously this all started with me wanting the best childcare for my own children, and you've brought your children through Banana Moon. Mine were the first, dare say, guinea pigs. It makes me feel even older. My daughter's 21 this week. She came through it closely followed by my son. It was all about quality childcare wherever we open, really, whether that's in Aberdeen or whether that's down on the south coast. We want the same family feeling, home from home environment. And yes, we have evolved, and we've, if you stand still, it doesn't work, but we've worked with you to bring that, and with your ideas, to evolve that model, really. What we did on day one 15 years ago is probably not a lot we do now. Back to 15 years ago.
No.
So how did your experience as a parent shape your vision for the kind of nursery you wanted to create?
Well, my middle son Toby, who is about to turn 18,
oh my God.
He was my first guinea pig. He was a very poorly baby. He was a Great Ormond Street baby, and I worked in the police at the time. And when I took him to a local nursery, I had peace of mind. I was able to go to work, breathe, be Susie, and know that they would ring me if they needed to, that I could be there in a few minutes. They would care for him and nurture him in a way that just gave me peace of mind. And that's really what I want to bring to other parents, that peace of mind. You can leave your child with us and we will care for them, we will nurture them, we will have fun, we will support, and we'll be there for the families as well. But it really was about peace of mind, so they can go to work or to wherever they're going when they drop off their children, and just breathe and be parents. So I think it's very much about the children. Of course it is, but it's also about the families and the parents, giving them that peace of mind.
Definitely. So what inspired you to look into franchising rather than starting a nursery yourself?
It was transferable skills. I was coming to the end of a career in the police, and my sister actually suggested franchising. I was worrying because I knew I had skills, but I couldn't see where they lay. I couldn't see what I could do with them. And she said that if you go into franchising, then there's somebody with you that can help you and support you. And that's exactly what it is about. It's about having a helping hand, somebody that can guide you, teaching you skills, but where you can see that skills that you bring have value in a different context. But it is about that supporting, not going it alone. It's very important to me that there was somebody else that was there to help me, and that I could learn from, and we could learn together. So I'm a great believer that we all learn from each other. But yeah, so it started with transferable skills and it went from there.
And how did you come across Banana Moon, and what made us stand out from the crowd?
Well, I have to be honest. I went onto a franchising website and ticked all the names that I liked. Wasn't very scientific. But that said, when Banana Moon's brochure came through the door, I absolutely knew. I opened it and I was standing up still. I hadn't sat down or anything going through the post. I literally opened it at the door and I was like, this is the one. And I'd had a conversation with my mum a couple of weeks earlier saying what I'd really like to do is open a nursery because of how they've helped me with Toby. But it's in the too difficult pile. But I knew with Banana Moon, I was like, no, this makes it possible. There's somebody who's going to help me open a nursery and be with me the whole way. And then it was just all the universe spoke. I took an afternoon off. I'd done my thinking and I took an afternoon off to ring you. And as I went for my phone, you rang me to just follow up on the brochure. And I was like, well, there you go. Job done. So yeah, that's and I haven't looked back.
So what has surprised you most about owning multiple nurseries?
That all local authorities do things differently. That's been a bit of an eye-opener. Really helpful, but a real eye-opener and a very indicative thing of why childcare is such a difficult industry to be in. I think the other thing as a franchisee as well is how, while we all have the same values and ethos and the same skeleton, how we flesh out that skeleton is so different. So I've got 3 nurseries and they completely different, but they're the same but different. We all have the same goals, give or take, and but the journey that we take to get there is really different. So I find that the most mind-blowing thing about 3 nurseries. Then you expand it to the other network. We share ideas, we watch each other on social media, and we go, gosh, that's a really good idea, I hadn't thought of that. And it's that, isn't it? You've got 50 plus Banana Moons and we're all different, but we've all got the same skeleton. Absolutely. Or core and ethos, as you might call it. I don't know. Values.
Yeah. Well, I like skeleton. How has the support from Banana Moon head office helped you in your journey? So
in that long-term relationship, there's been many people coming and going, and with each one brings something different to the table. So while it's been a journey of ups and downs, I think there's always been different people to go to for different things, and I think that's really important to know that when you go to Banana Moon franchise for support, you're going to particular people for particular things, and that has massively evolved. Every individual at Banana Moon franchise has something else that they bring to the table that we can go to and learn from and work with. So I think it's the head office support or Banana Moon franchise support is that mutual support. It is having individuals that can either find out for you at a different level or across the network what you need, or will advise you. So I think for me, it's just, and not being alone in that, it's such a difficult industry to be in. So actually, when you are feeling isolated, whether it be about funding or about a parent complaint or about activities in the nursery, it doesn't really matter what it's about, that you can actually pick up the phone and there will be somebody at the end of one of the lines who can support you in that. So I think that the support has evolved and grown, but it's always been there. There's never been a drop. And I think that's really important. That's why I'm here 15 years later, through the highs and lows, that I know that even if I don't like that direction, there's another direction, and you will always listen. As in you Mark, but you, the franchise, will always listen as well.
So what do you love most about running a nursery?
I just providing a nurturing setting, and yes, for the children, but like I said before, it's really about everybody. It's about the adults as well, and I include my staff teams, and I include the families that come to us, that we all learn and grow together, and we all want to thrive. We want everybody to be seen, to feel seen, whether it's for good, for bad, whether it's happy or sad, that we all learn and grow. And yeah, I'll never get bored of first steps. It's just amazing when a child does something and you're just like, ha. But also for the families, when you're celebrating occasions with them as well. We're very privileged to be in such an intimate relationship on every level with people starting their journey as families with tiny people that we're responsible for. But it's that, isn't it? It's a gift. It is a gift.
Fantastic. So what's one piece of advice you give someone considering investing in a nursery franchise?
I'd just say it isn't easy. They are coming into a massively regulated area, and it's sector, I should say. And every day it's more. There's more being thrown at us all the time. So it's not. We are not babysitters. It is a hard job. And coming into a nursery, the nursery sector, or even a nursery franchise, it's not going to change. We are all going to have to deal with what is being thrown at us every day. So you have to really believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in the importance of looking after these tiny people, and giving them the best start in life. So even when the worst days are coming, or the most stressful moments are coming, or whatever announcement you get at 11 o'clock on a Friday night from the government, that you have to believe, right, I can get through this because I have to, because I want to see everybody get through it. And then if you're going to invest in a nursery, why not go with a franchise? If you want to do it but you're not sure if you've got the skills, you've got people who will support you, and you will always be able to phone a friend. And I say that professionally, but it is that concept of phoning a friend. So I can ring up and cry about funding models, or I can ring up and have a rant about whatever's going on, and it could be that I just have somebody on the end of the phone going, feel better now, good, okay, bye. I've been able to share that, because you could open a nursery and not see anybody except your local authority in Ofsted in 6 years, whereas we don't have that. Every month somebody's knocking at the door, but they're on your team. And I think that's where I would go franchise, because also you've got the other things that you then don't have to worry about. Like we've got HR, that in itself, that I can phone HR at any point is massively important. So there isn't that, well, it's always my responsibility, but there's somebody else who can help me with that. I don't have to go and Google it. So I think there's lots of bonuses to going with a franchise.
So what excites you most about the future of childcare?
There's a lot going on. So it's quite hard to read the word excitement and feel like it's excitement, but I love a challenge, and I'm very passionate about the professionalisation of the profession, literally. So for me, childcare is always going to be important, and we want people to recognise how important those early years are, and that we teach in early years. We are teachers, we help them grow, but in all areas. We don't just babysit, we don't just look after them, we really nurture and teach these children. So for me, I'm quite passionate about that. Professionalising the profession and making sure that people recognise that my teens are so important. They have been written off before. They have been discarded. The pandemic was painful, and I cried a lot during the pandemic for how we were made to feel, but we're still here, and we're getting more stuff thrown at us, and we still fight for it. We're still trying to unite as a sector and recognising the weaknesses that we have, and we have to keep doing that. So I don't like a fight, but I like a fight. So I really like to feel part of that let's do this kind of atmosphere. And at the end of the day, being in early years, being part of these little tiny tots first moments, it is the gift that keeps on giving. You just cannot. No 2 days are the same, so I can't get bored, which is really important to me. But it is the gift that keeps on giving. I don't know what I'll go into, and you sometimes get a rubbish gift, but it's how you unwrap it and wrap it up and pass it on. But otherwise, it's just a joy. It can be an absolute joy every day. I am passionate. I am very passionate about what I do, and don't get bored, which is why I'm here 15 years later. But I don't know, and I you know, Mark will say we've had our ups and downs, but I'm still here because I believe in it. I really believe in it.
And staying on your passion overwhelms us, and if every franchisee had that passion, it'd be utopia, because it is a big part of why we started it. It was a passion that I wanted quality childcare. I wanted the best start for life for those little ones. You know, people don't realise how important it is, and getting them ready for school. You know, the difference between a child going to a nursery and not going to a nursery is a million miles apart. And you know, when I see them going off, and I bump into some of the children now, and they're 18 years old plus, and you're thinking, wow, and they still remember me. Quite a warming feeling that we were part of their life, big part of their life.
Yeah, it's a real privilege, isn't it? It is bonkers. It is bonkers. But then I'm watching, there's a little girl, she is now, I'd say about 12, 13, and she's on stage, and she's a really well-rounded, beautiful young lady, very academically achieving, but she's also in the local theatre she was playing Annie recently, and you just look at that and you just think, yeah, it doesn't come from me at all, but maybe I was just a part of that.
Yeah.
And I feel really proud. You know, I well up all the time. I don't cry, but I feel the tears, and then I'm like, I'm not crying. But you see them, or at school when they're greeting their friends, like in my local school with my youngest son, and I go, oh, that's banana moon. But there is a real connection, and there's still parents that are still good friends. You know, it's going on holiday with one of them this year, so wow. You know, we're close because we see them, they see us. I'm very honest, so you know, if we make a mistake, I'll hold my hands up and see what we can do to make it better, but also just want them to really trust us, because I left my very poorly baby with a nursery, and I completely trusted them to keep him alive, and that's what we do every day.